Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and do a video on kind of going backwards with composition of functions. We can say that if we have f of g of x equals h of x. And if I give you h of x, I'm going to ask you to find f and g. So let's just do a real basic example right off the bat. We'll say h of x equals 2 to the power of x plus 1. Well, when I look at this, because I'm going to need to know an f of x and a g of x. Well, when I look here up top, I do see that my g of x is actually my input. So I look at my function here and I ask myself, what can I take out and just leave an x and put an x in its place? It's kind of like the u substitution we've done in previous examples or in previous sections. In this case, I can actually take out x plus 1. Because we're going backwards, as we're taking it out, that actually becomes our input, which is our g of x. So it becomes x plus 1. When I do that and I take out the x plus 1, that only leaves me my 2x. So this is an easy way you can just do decomposition. Some of them you can see right away. Other ones are not so obvious. We're not going to do really complex ones in class. I just want to be able to give you the idea of thinking forward and backwards on compositions. This may be the most complex we get here in my class, is if you have h of x equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. This one is not obvious on what you can take out to replace your input to output. So we need my f of x and I need a g of x. But this is a trinomial, and if anything, if all else fails with the trinomial, factor it. If it doesn't factor, use the quadratic formula. So we're going to factor this. Well, I use the AC method, so we're going to do a times c. Well, a times c is simply 1 times 9, which is 9. I write down all my factors, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 9, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 3. I ask myself, which combination do I multiply to get a positive 9, but when I add them, I get a positive 6x. And of course, that is the positive 3 and the positive 3. I am then going to rewrite my middle term. I have x squared plus 6x plus 9. I'm going to rewrite my middle term as 3x. Of course, I have to add them to make it 6x. And I have my x squared and my 9. I am then going to factor by grouping. Then I ask myself, x squared and 3x, what do they have in common? The x, of course. That leaves me x plus 3. Then 3x plus 9, what does that have in common? Of course, it's a 3. Leaves me x plus 3. And of course, this right here is one factor, x plus 3. And then what's on the outside with this sign right here is my other factor, which is x plus 3. This can be rewritten as x plus 3 squared. And now here I hope it's pretty easy to see that I could pull out my x plus 3, which is going to be my g of x. And when I do that, all that's left is x squared. And there we've done the decomposition. So it may take a little bit of math for you to actually figure out how to actually break it down. I like putting out the idea of working this forward and backwards to kind of just think through it. Most of the problems are not going to be that difficult to do. It's just a matter of you should see it pretty quick. And keep in mind, there's more than one way to work these. There's absolutely more than one way to work these.